that's also leading in stunting, there are also other methods we can indulge in as Ugandans to ensure that Ugandans are living safely. So in the National Nutrition Week, we have key messages, we have key information, and we have whatever is available related to health eating, eating pyramid, and whatsoever. And we shall be joined by Mr. Glenn Mark. He's a nutritionist, and he's going to share his expertise here on Google Data Vision. Remember, this Nutrition Week began on 20th and to run till 28th of this very May. Mr. Glenn, you are most welcome on Google Data Vision.
Thank you, Mr. Karma, for inviting me for this wonderful session and educating my fellow Ugandans all about nutrition.
Perfect. Now, so when we talk about National Nutrition Week, we want to dive more into the statistics. Just like 26% of the population here is stunted, or 26 in 100 children of Uganda have stunting. What does this translate to you?
Okay, it is a multi-sector condition. It's not mainly focused on one area. It is a wide range of reasons or factors that affect the nutrition of the children.
Okay.
So it can start with the maternal, then the environmental factors, with also underlying conditions that can also lead to the undernutrition of the child.
Okay, or of the population generally. So what are some of the maternal conditions that you think have increased the prevalence of undernutrition here in the country?
One is mothers, there's lack of family planning, where the mother immediately has just given birth. Within 6 months, we find that the mother is again pregnant again. So the mother does not have enough energy or focus on the child who is on ground, mainly focusing on maybe on herself. Therefore, competition with the food around the family. So second is that in the maternal home, that we find there are single mothers. As we go to the other regions, the mothers are the ones doing the farming, they're doing the cultivation, but then that, when they are going with their children, they're having 1 meal or 2 meals in the day, where we have to find that the children are supposed to eat almost 5 times in a day. That is breakfast, a snack, lunch, a snack, and then supper. For them to develop, since they are developing, their range of development is very fast. So their growth needs more food and nutrition.
Good. Now, Mr. Glenn, when you say that single mothers, that you find most of the households here in Uganda are led by single mothers. According to a recent study, it showed that at least actually 8 in 10 homes, that if you counted 10 households, 8 of them are led by women in food security. They're trying to try the level best provide food. So I do not know. So what is your take on women leading the food security in regard to the undernutrition? Do you feel that when women take lead, the food security levels increase or they decrease? But also, do you believe that women have failed their role?
I do believe women have held their role in nutrition, because nutrition, they are the main focus, the mothers, because they are the ones that feed the children. So nutrition revolves around them.
Okay.
One, if they have lack of education, therefore they are not able to know what foods that they're supposed to give the child. You find the child within 5 months, they have started semi-solid foods. Therefore, they have removed the breast milk. They are just running through the process. But since the mothers play a key role in nutrition, with more guidance and more help with educating them, the food security levels increase, since they are the ones who cook the food, they are the ones who process, like after farming, and they are the ones who harvest the food and storage the food. So if they have more education, more advocacy in the nutrition sector, in how to, through the food systems where we have the farming, the processing, the distribution, and the consumption. So if they are educated more on the food systems, therefore they are able to learn on how to budget and how to feed the child with what foods, and how to help them to reduce the level of stunting.
Great. Thank you so much. So in short, you are applauding the mothers here in the country for holding the nutrition status, and of course for providing food and ensuring that the households our food secure all the time. And of course now we want to learn what are some of the household strategies that you think that they can reduce undernutrition in Uganda. We've seen different people think that when you buy, you have to buy this, have to buy this. But we have the local household measures or strategies that you think the children's food could be changed in different ways so that they can be nutritious and reduce the burden. Because if we say that in 100 children, you count them, but 26 of them have stunting. I don't know if the way I understand statistics, is it the same way you understand statistics?
Yes.
Good. So give us some of the household strategies.
One is backyard farming. Not every food is supposed to be bought. In order to spend less, foods like the vegetables, the tomatoes, the eggplants, some of onions, carrots, you can designate an area around your home and you do backyard farming. That will be able to provide you with some of those vegetable nutrients, where you can just able to go to your farm, the backyard farm, and get the tomatoes if they are ready, the carrots, and you consume. Secondly is that when you are going into the market to buy the foodstuffs, do not look for that damage, because the way how someone arranges the food in the market gives you an idea of how does this one keep the food. Because if you just lay down and you find tomatoes next to a dirty place, how are you sure that these tomatoes are nice to be able to eat?
Okay.
Yeah. Thirdly is the way we cook the food. Not every food is supposed to be fried, put in cooking oil.
Okay.
There is other local ways of how our parents used to do. There was steaming.
Is it not still happening?
It is still happening, but parents are using those. We're using those shortcut methods where everything is fried, because it's looks nice. But the boiled things, they don't give that
Children
appetizing.
do not like boiled food.
They do not like boiled food.
So what advice do you give to parents?
My advice is that you start slowly, because children, if you force them to eat food, they are unable to they will dislike that food. So therefore, parents, I advise you is that we initially, gradually start increasing the boiled foods. The potatoes, Irish potatoes, we can do steamed nakati and dodo. You show them, you have to be there eating, because the children, you see, is that they pick from you. If you also do not want that food, how sure are you that the child is also going to eat that food? When you say, I don't prefer the steamed nakati, I want the one which is stir-fried.
Okay, thank you so much. So away from the household methods, we've seen the country has done tremendous work in promotion of nutrition, and it has strengthened the capacity building of health workers. Do you believe in nutrition integration? That's making every count matter. I mean, making every patient who come through be done nutrition assessment, be children or health facilities, would improve the outcomes of the nutrition as Uganda as a whole.
I do believe so, that every patient needs to be screened nutrition assessment. Because let's take for an instance, we have a pregnant mother who is going to deliver very soon. And we have not done the nutrition assessment, where you may find that the mother is moderately acute malnourished. Therefore, if you have not screened that, you're unable to tell if they can be able to have the energy to deliver. With nutrition assessment, we are able to pick those key components, where after assessing them, we're able to determine their nutritional status. That gives us a wide range of how the mother is, how the patient is health-wise. Because if they are moderately malnourished, therefore we start picking the iron levels are low. Therefore, if they are due to deliver, if they are still in the hospital, we can increase on their iron levels with providing them with the iron-rich foods
Okay.
during their stay. And after the delivery, we have to educate the mothers still on nutrition and their assessment, because also their health to determine the health of the young
baby.
If they have poor health, we cannot say that the child is going to have proper health.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now, you believe that actually women or couples who are considering pregnancy should do preconception nutrition?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, we've seen also a rise in the non-communicable disease prevalence. We've seen that actually 3 in 10 Ugandans right now as we speak, they have diabetes. And 1 in 4 Ugandans have hypertension. Unfortunately, is that 8 in 10 of them who have hypertension now are aware, and they are not on treatment neither. And they only present the hospitals with complications. I'm not certain if you know your blood pressure, if you know your blood sugar levels, and if you're at 35 years and above, this would be your window period actually to develop these non-communicable diseases. Mr. Glenn, as a nutritionist professional, what dietary changes or trends you think have increased the burden of the non-communicable diseases as we intend to celebrate the National Nutrition Week 2025?
1, lifestyle changes. We are picking up the lifestyle of the Western culture, where we prefer sitting all the time. With that, that's one, poor lifestyle changes. We are now consuming the fast foods, fast in, fast out. We are doing more of sedentary lifestyle, where we, after work, then we go hang out with our friends and we are still eating fast foods. We're going to KFC,
To eating
Java's,
restaurants is
yeah.
enough.
Then we go back home. We sit in the car and then we go back home. And then again at home, we are preferring maybe noodles, something like that, which is very fast. And then we go to sleep. Therefore, with that, you're not sure how significant, what is the food doing to you, because everything has an advantage and a disadvantage.
Okay.
When you overshoot the food that you're consuming, it becomes disadvantageous to you.
Okay, thank you so much. Disclaimer is that whatever is mentioned here on Google Data Vision does not represent this company, but rather it represents individuals' opinions about discussion here. So we are still talking about the prevalence of the non-communicable diseases in the country, and we are looking into some of the reasons why the trend keeps on going high instead of going down. What are some of other ways you think have increased the burden
Increase the burden
of non-communicable diseases?
Okay.
Do you think alcohol and people who smoke, all those things increase?
Yes. Because one, if excess alcohol really damages.
Is there normal alcohol and excess alcohol?
Yes. Now, you cannot sit on 1 crate of beer as a person and you proudly say, I can consume 1 crate of beer. That's excessive to a person.
What is the normal threshold of alcohol? Is it there?
We say it's 1 bottle per person. It ranges to a person, because now if you are now diabetic, you have hypertension. Therefore, we are going to remove you from the alcohol. But you see that it is hard for a person to, with their behavior changes, that is what they were doing. We cannot say avoid alcohol immediately. We just have to probe, and we get what were your levels of alcohol consumption. If you say you were consuming, let's say 5 bottles every day in a week, can't we say let's do 3 bottles once a week? Right? It just to keep you there.
So in the nutrition counseling, it helps you to master the person's behavior before and directs you in the next steps.
Yes. You have to probe the individual person to give you their lifestyle, their behavior changes, how their behavior patterns, and with that you are able to advise them on how to manage with the condition. As the treatment goes on, you find a person who does not have that urge of that I want to drink alcohol,
Okay.
because you have gradually been
Reduce
reducing
the amount of the
yes,
intake.
yeah, because we cannot just rapidly just cut off someone's.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We've had a trend of balanced diet and the health eating plate. Now, could you give us a highlight of the diabetes management in the simple terms, and maybe non-communicable disease eating healthy guidelines that you want the Ugandans who are watching Google Data Vision to know and do and start immediately? Because we have a strategy now of saying that immediately we say something, people should start implementation. We no longer want you say something, we write down and we implement the next week. No. What you're speaking tonight on Google Data Vision, people are beginning tomorrow. So what are those nutrition guidelines for the persons who are living with diabetes right now, with chronic kidney disease, with other non-communicable diseases that are related to nutrition? You want them to start immediately on.
Okay, thank you. To start immediately on is a healthy plate. That healthy plate, half of your plate should be fruits and vegetables, half of the plate. And the other half of the plate, we divide it into now a quarter of it, where we have the plant-based, the proteins and the animal proteins, and we have whole grain foods with very little levels of sugar, salt intake, and oil consumption.
Okay.
So that now comes into majorly in how you generally prepare the food. So the vegetables, fruits and vegetables, some of the vegetables can be eaten raw with proper washing, where we have to make sure that the water is boiled, then you put some salt. The salt helps to kill and that warm water helps to kill the worms if you're washing the vegetables. We don't need to soak the vegetables in water when washing. Use running water. Because when you soak the vegetables, those vitamins, some of the micronutrients are going to be absorbed in the water, and you're not going to use them. To be used. So some of the vegetables can be eaten raw. Some of the fruits can be eaten, not majorly. Every time let's make juice. Some of the fruits can be eaten.
What are whole grain foods?
Whole grain foods, that's majorly rice, posho, maize. We have oats and barley, millet.
What are the local available foods that people can easily get?
We have started with millet. The Westerners, we know the kalo. That is a whole grain food. Then
Matoke is not whole grain.
it is not whole grain.
Okay.
But it can be in the component of the carbohydrates, but it's not whole grain.
Okay.
So we have wheat, because now these days Uganda has enforced a law of biofortification, where every company that is going to process wheat has to add iron, vitamin A, in order to reduce the levels of iron deficiency, vitamin A deficiency.
Okay.
Then we have rice.
Okay. I think that's enough. And of course, I want to thank you, Mr. Glenn. Viewers who have just joined us, we are celebrating the National Nutrition Week 2025 here at Google Data Vision, where your health begins from, because we matter to you a lot when it comes to health. Because you're not healthy, you will not perform. But of course, we are looking into the perspective that whereas the undernutrition, the wasting, the stunting, and the underweight have tried to reduce from the 1999 Demographic Health Survey, if you compare today, the non-communicable diseases have continued to rise every day compared to the former. This leaves a dilemma which is equivalent, which is proportional to each other for you and me to handle. We go for a short quick break, but when we return, we shall discuss more of this important National Nutrition Week 2025.
Gugude TV, transforming your life.
Life is a race, not against others, but for a purpose greater than yourself. Every step you take matters. Every decision you make can change the course of someone else's journey. At Makere Full Gospel Church, we are running a race too. A race to purchase land next to the church compound so as to expand our parking space and build more infrastructure for God's work. With your purchase of Run Your Race book, authored by our very own Pastor Fred Wantanti, for just 30,000 Ugandan shillings, you're not just buying a book, you're joining the race. All proceeds from the book sale will go toward purchasing the land. Together, we can build a legacy that will last for generations. Buy your copy today and let's run the race together.
Pastor Pasteri Music Center, located along Chagwe Road on Serwaniko Music Plaza, shop number B4, and Justine Arcade, shop number G73, next to Chiseka Market, brings you all music and audio equipment and electronics like brass band items, including drums, saxophones, trombones, and cornets, top speakers, bass beams, amplifiers, digital mixers, guitars, flat TV screens, keyboards, domestic lights and stage lights, code and codeless microphones, studio monitors, sound cards, and all recording studio equipment. For deliveries and orders from abroad, call Pastor Pasteri on 0752 008 443 or 0782 008 443. Pastor Pasteri Music Center. Gugude TV, transforming your life.
Thank you for being on Google Data Vision from wherever you're watching us from, and I want to appreciate people who love us and who always tune in, especially Amanya Brea watching from Sanji. I want to thank you so much for having us and for dedicating your time to Google Data Vision. And of course, we want to inspire all the Ugandans when it comes to Christianity, and we're located at Sapro Kagwa Road at Makere Full Gospel Church. It's where we always sound from and talk to you from. So I want to thank you, and of course, just like you can post your comments, your feature, or any story, anything about health on our social media platforms. And of course, we can get back to Good Television Uganda on both LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. We shall be able to get back to you as soon as possible. And of course, I'm still having Mr. Mark Glenn Tugume, a senior nutritionist, and he's still teaching us about how to live healthy, telling us the dynamics that despite we've tried to reduce the undernutrition, but the increment of the non-communicable diseases is unmatched. Sichecho?
Yes.
So now we're still talking about the National Nutrition Week 2025. And of course, we've looked into how the country has worked together with its development partners, including UNICEF, WHO, and Right to Grow, Hang Project, Hang Fighters, Action Against Hunger, World Vision, and every partner that has come on board to work with MOH to ensure that nutrition is coming up and has done so well to us as Ugandans. So as we went for a break, we were talking about what could be advice to the persons living with non-communicable diseases. But now we have the young people. Save the Children did a study of recent in the last like 6 months and found out that 7 in 10 young people depend on sugar products every day. That 6 in 10 young people did not do an exercise in the last 7 days. What does this translate to the country or the people watching us?
That is the one that's going to increase the non-communicable diseases we have just been talking about. With that is just one major role, which is lifestyle. Most of the children these days, we are practicing indoor leisure. We are playing video games every day, in and out, that we sit and we play video games. Second, we are only watching the series, movies, in and out. We just sit in one position.
And they
where
make
you
for you
live.
food.
Good. We make for you food, and then the food they are saying they do not want this. They prefer pizza, noodles, processed foods, and that is very which rich high in calories.
But now we've seen that 75% of the time for children is usually at school. Don't you think the problem starts within school? What do you say about the school canteens and the school eating places? Do they stock whole food, or they stock most of it is processed, refined, it's usually trans fats? Yeah.
Okay, the canteens, they do provide food. When if you go to school, lunch is there. But as us, as students or children, we tend to prefer the foods which are very high in calorie, the trans fats. Where I find maybe, we don't like posho, that is true, is that if we dislike the food which is being prepared at school, we resort to buying the chips, the sausages, the pizzas that the school is selling them, they are getting money.
Do you think if the canteen stored boiled vegetables, yellow bananas, boiled sweet potato, cassava, the students would buy them instead of the refined products?
No, I do not think.
Why?
The canteens...
We want to know that behind agenda, why young people are not adapting to the former health eating, rather they are under globalization of meals.
That majorly comes to lifestyle, like back home, how you are raised.
But it's easy for you to change. Trust me, I grew up from Kanungu district. I studied everything from Kanungu district. I just came to Kampala when I was old. You get the point?
Yes.
So, have you seen that when you live for a long time in the local community and you come to Kampala, you are easily influenced? Do you believe that children, when they leave home, still when they go to school, they'll be crowded by different social behaviors that can trigger them to eat what they're not supposed to eat?
Yeah, you have just said it right. You are from Kanungu, you come here. You are still used to eating your rice, the
local
food.
Yes. The local food.
But then...
Actually, I didn't know sausage.
You didn't know sausage?
I knew sausage at the age of how many? Let me not speak because people laugh at me because I'm a village.
But that really majorly comes to your the way the society, what they are advocating for. Because you see the Western culture, you do not see them advertising that they are eating whole foods or local foods. You see them saying they're eating burgers, pizzas, right? So now that gives a child to, how does that taste, right? So you test once and then you become addicted to it.
But also, I'm not against pizzas or burgers and whatsoever. Now, you guys have a lot of expertise in nutrition and whatsoever. Don't you think you can make burgers out of sweet potatoes, out of matoke? I don't know. What's not new? Like, how can we get the expertise to use our local available foods? We
can't say we're going to process burgers.
Maybe the processing methods are different, the foods required different. Do you think if you use the local foods and you promote it, because if you moved in the high streets and you saw the posters for food, they're always talking about fast food. I've never seen a signpost that has, please come and eat ruombo here, what, come and eat maybe sweet potato and the chirenge. What happened?
Still, that only comes with how the different cultures, how we are being influenced with the Western culture, where we find the processed foods in the Western culture are cheaper compared to the local foods. Here in Uganda, the local foods are cheaper, but we do prefer. I think it's when you do not have the money, that is when you opt for the local food. But when you do have the money, you're like, let's go for this, let's go for Cafe Javas, let's go to Food Hub continuously, chips every day, like continuous consumption of those foods are the ones leading to the non-communicable diseases. We are not saying that that food, when you eat it once, we are going to get hypertension. That is just how to moderate your consumption of the trans fats. We are not advocating to eat the trans fats. We are just saying we need to moderate the consumption of those trans fats.
Okay, thank you so much. Just like I want to emphasize the issue that when we are here, the views expressed on this television do not represent the company, but rather they represent the individual themselves. Now, we want also to look into now the communities that are battling with non-communicable diseases. This is more of a casual talk, and I would want to encourage the local communities on how to eat healthy. What could be as we intend to round up this very important discussion, what could you want the communities that are in Karamoja sub-region and northeastern Uganda, where the food insecurity levels are always beyond the threshold, to indulge in, to ensure they meet the DASH requirements?
Okay. In those areas, we have seen that they grow foods majorly for sale. They do not have that thing of like, let's keep some food at home. That is why there's the insecurity levels at home are increasing. Where you see a farmer has acres of land, they are growing maybe one type, that is maize. Maize in the whole garden, and then after they harvest and they sell all of it to the to process, and we get the portion that we do eat here, but then there is no food at home. That increases the food insecurity levels. If we have in the garden, the garden full of maize, and we have some, let's say, beans inside that garden, those beans that you have planted, when they are ready, food consumption at home. The cassava, you can designate just like a small section. It takes long periods of time to grow, but once it is ready, you have food which is available to you at home to use to eat. Are you getting? Because we want to promote that people do not grow one type of food in their garden. Within the maize, grow variety. That also enriches the soil.
Okay.
Because if you're growing maize in and out, the fertility of the soil diminishes.
What are some of the local fortification strategies you would encourage at a local household level? Are there some that you'd like to tell our viewers? Some of the local fortification levels, or maybe strategies that you think that a household, and maybe they mix soya, maybe with mukene, they get this. Maybe if you feel if they paired this and this, they would get this. Just like you had earlier said, by a fortification.
Okay. That's majorly that is like supplementation. Where the food the nutrient that is lacking in this is going to be subsidized with the other food. majorly that comes into, let's say, chitovero, as we say in children, right? We know that milk has 100% high protein value, right? So do not give the child just plain porridge. Enrich that porridge. We can put milk in that porridge. Prepare millet flour with milk inside. Therefore, you have enriched the food you are eating. Therefore, the food has the protein, the milk provides the protein, and then the millet provides you with the energy, that's the carbohydrates, with the iron. Then that means the child with that food, you have combined the food, not eating it separately, where you are saying that let's eat bread and the milk alone. But if you can pair the food together, that with the child eases the child to eat and consume the food very well.
Okay.
Because you have said mukene, if we can combine mukene in the GNATs, we know fish, that mukene provides the calcium. If you eat the mukene, provides the calcium, which is very good for bone and teeth development. With the GNATs, combine that and you have an enriched food product for home.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, we've also seen that the National Nutrition Week actually tackles very different and many issues at a go. Now, I've seen infectious diseases have increased in Uganda. Such infectious diseases like tuberculosis, Ebola, COVID-19 was here. So what could be your advice to persons in case they get the infectious diseases?
In case they get, or to
Yes,
prevent first?
in case they get. Because now prevention, you can't prevent yourself from person. Maybe when it is maybe TB, but for example, person has already developed COVID-19, maybe flu is also common. What are some of those strategies that you would want to give health tips related to nutrition to them?
Majorly, that is wash, water, sanitation and hygiene.
Okay.
With poor wash practices, therefore is going to increase the rate of infectious diseases.
Okay.
If you have flu, I assume you have flu, then the way you are handling, I come and visit you, the area is not conducive. It is breeding the conditions for that virus. Therefore, the cup that you have used is not washed. Then I use that same cup. Am I going to get flu? And then spread it to the next to the next. With poor wash conditions, just which is majorly at home. With proper wash conditions, practices that you do, that is boiling your water, cleaning, proper cleaning of the sanitation at home, where you prepare the food and around. The hygiene. When you're going to prepare the food, the person who is going to prepare needs to wash the fruits and vegetables, or the utensils that he or she is going to use. The fingernails, they need to be kept short, because once you go in the washrooms, you clean yourself and you come out from there. Then that same person prepares for you food. Then after a while, you say you've got a stomach problem. Where did that? You say we have eaten the same food which has been prepared, right? But then you went to the washroom, you didn't wash your hands. That will make that is the factor that led you to have.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, as we tend to wrap up this very important program, we want to encourage viewers and Ugandans who are watching Google Data Vision live here that nutrition is part and parcel of your health and well-being. And if a person ate well, according to studies, they indicate that you prevent 75% of the disease prevalence at your household. If a person ate very well, ate healthy, if you ensured that your plate is well modified, is well observed, that you take caution of your mouth, and whatever you eat is justifiable, you would then prevent yourself from getting the 75% of the diseases. Glenn, what is your conclusive remark about this very important topic?
My conclusion is that nutrition plays a major role in an individual's health. With proper nutrition, we are able to prevent various disease conditions. Therefore, I advise my fellow Ugandans that nutrition should be really a key role in your household, where that you can easily help yourself and your family members obtain a healthy lifestyle. Health is our well-being and it is our creation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming to Good Television. I want to thank you. You've started with us till 8, and now we've come to conclusion. But of course, I want to thank you once more and send my love to you all the time. Every time you are watching Good Television, just know we are there thinking about you. We do not know you, you know us, but we love you so much. And we're here to promote healthy living in your lifestyle and wherever you are. I am Kamara Daniel, your presenter for this very important program. I hope to see you next Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.
See you.
Good Day